Hello guys, this is Matitz, Dualities. So today we are gonna make a hunter tier list for Smite, because there are some really things I wanna put out about the hunters, right? We just recently got a buffed for Hachiman, right? Where is Hachiman? Now let's compare, let's make a comparison. We have Artemis and we have Hachiman. Like Hachiman is basically better than, it's just basically better than Artemis, right? But you still don't have slow immunity as Artemis do. So I think Artemis is one of the most underrated picks in Conquest, but you have to play her aggressively early on, so you can group up the mobs and clear them out with your tree, right? You really need to put yourself into a position when you can be the one who's hunting, right? Artemis kit is actually so underrated. You have double hard crowd control, you have root and you have AoE stun for the whole enemy team. You have slow immunity. Only few gods in whole Smite has slow immunity in their kits. That's also why Ra is actually one of the most underrated mages currently. Slow immunity is a huge counter against most junglers like Nemesis, Arachne, Set, that guy, where is that guy? That monkey, chipmunk, Ratatoskar, right? All these are good. And what is Ra doing here, right? But actually these days you can actually play so many gods in those lanes, right? You just need good clear actually. You could play Ra, you could play Vamana on duo lane, you can play Kronos, right? But Kronos still doesn't have such a good clear. So he's not that good right now, right? And Kronos ulti is not really good for Conquest, right? Now let's talk about Artemis. Artemis poke. Artemis has one of the best poke in the game, just like Hachiman. It's instant, it's long range, and it has slow, right? Hachiman would actually seem better. You know, Hachiman poke is actually insane, and both of them have CC immunity in their kits, right? And he also has a good escape, right? Overall, I think Hachiman is better, but there are still some points that make Artemis one of the most underrated picks. For example, you have slow immunity in your kit, you have good crowd control ultimate, you have long range poke, which is actually really good for chasing, right? Just like Osiris. People usually do mistake on Osiris and level up his 1, but you have to level up his 2. One of the best poke in the game, just like Artemis and Osiris have really strong pokes, and that's why they are here, just so I can talk about them a bit. Hachiman, I think Hachiman didn't really need a buff, right? Like his poke is so good. If you are behind, if you are playing against Hachiman and you are behind, like that lane will be so frustrating to play, right? He has long range poke, he has ulti that allows him to escape, and he has a dash in his kit. It's not the best escape, but it's still an escape, right? Better than Artemis. Artemis has root, right? I think her trap is just a bit outdated. Like, it's good, right? It's actually, her trap is actually very good, because people usually use crowd control to counter your, they use beats and amulet to counter your ulti, right, as Artemis. And then you also have root, right? And you have slow immunity. Like, there is so much outplay potential when it comes to Artemis, and I think Artemis is one of the most underrated picks out there, even though her clear is not that good. Now let's talk about some of the ability hunters like Nidh and Muzenkap, right? They were always good, right? But Bluestone got nerfed a bit. But you can still go Bluestone, you can go Jotuns, you can go Transcendence, right? There are many options, right? And playing aggressively, you have to play aggressively early. There is a saying: whoever wins the first wave can win the whole lane, can win the whole game. You know, because Conquest is designed around snowballing, and 2-3 level advantage is huge in Conquest, right? That's why if you play Artemis or if you play Muzenkap who lack escape, you have to play aggressively early, you have to be on lane on the right time, and you have to hit your minions with everything you have, so you outclear your opponent, right? Nidh, I think Nidh also has some really fun combos. You can ulti one, right? You don't even need to charge your ulti, you can just ulti, you can use your ulti for slow stun, and then you follow up with your one, right? Need escape is quite predictable, so maybe you should consider going Winged Blade. So not only you have Beats Emulate and your escape, but you also have Winged Blade proc, right? Because her ulti, she really has one escape, right? Gods that have double mobility are always good, like Apollo is so good. You have good clear, you have good crowd control, and you have good ultimate that allows you for insane rotation, right? You can play aggressively with his ultimate, you can pressure the lane and force the enemy to rotate on your lane with Apollo, and then you can just escape, right? Or you can rotate middle. That's why Apollo is so good. Global ultis are very strong, right? Remind me of global ulti, where is that slow hunter? We are missing one hunter, aren't we? It's the slow one, but I don't really see him here. Let me see. Oh, there is also Cupid. Yeah, Cupid. Okay, let's not forget about our Cupid. There is a good slow god, Chernobog, right? Chernobog. Oh, there he is. Okay. Global ultimate will be always strong. You have pretty good clear, you have root, and you can put your combo on insta cast, right? He was always pretty good hunter, right? His escape is not that good though. His escape is not that good. Maybe it can be good, right? Maybe. So let's see. Let's put Hachiman in S tier currently. I think Hachiman is so insanely good. He got overbuffed for no reason, just like they overbuffed Kumbhakarna. Most of the buffs, you know, most of the buffs are not really necessary, right? Most hunter and mage items have way too many stats, and I think the overall balance is pretty good currently, right? It's fun. Levels still play a huge role in Conquest, and there is more things to come back, right? And the meta is totally different for Arena or Conquest. If you consider yourself to be a good Smite player, you have to be good in both game modes, right? You know, so how do we build hunters, right? We go Hunter Cloak, right? This starter has way too many stats, so you are literally forced to go some of these items. You can go Cloak, you can go Asi, you can go into Rage. Asi plus crit was always good staple, or you can go Bloodforge Rage, or you can go Executioner, Lifesteal crit, right? There is actually quite a few options, right? But some items are still overtuned, like Dominance. This item has 16% pin, right? Meanwhile, the other items only have like 5 to 8% pin, which is, I don't know, man. So some of the items could be balanced better, I think. So let's continue. So this is good, right? Chernobog good. What do we think about Muzenkap? He has insane good pressure, insane good clear. He has no escape though. He has a lot of movement speed. He can still get slowed, right? If you get slowed in Smite, if you get slowed, you cannot juke, right? So gods that have slow immunity in their kits is very huge. Well, that's why Artemis is actually very strong, because she's a huge counter against many junglers and many ganks. Even though I would still prefer to be Apollo, that you can just global ult out of it, right? Let's also talk about Danzabaru, right? I think you have to, this game is all about pressure. Whoever can play aggressively gets more levels, get more advantage, right? Danzabaru was always very strong, especially if you play him more aggressively. This is also why Heimdall is good. Like Heimdall is way too safe, right? There is a reason this guy is banned on so many SPL games, because his escape is overpowered, right? He's probably the safest hunter in the game, but he has like no mobility, but you don't need it. If once you get ahead, you don't need it, right? And you can play more aggressively, because you can always escape, right? Danzabaru, good escape. His ulti is actually very strong, especially if you play more aggressively, right? It's not really that good for escape, but if you play more aggressively, if you are ahead, Danzabaru can be insanely good, right? Like, he's safe, he has, you know, it's very hard to trade sometimes, especially if he ults you, like, it's a lot of damage, right? Maybe if you go Asi, if you got Bloodforge attack speed, this is also why Artemis is good. You have insane attack speed steroid in her kit already, so, like, you just go ASI or crit, and then you can outbox any hunter in the game, right? On top of that, you also have insanely good poke, right, with her 3 ability. Muzen Cap, good clear. You go Bluestone, you go Jotuns probably if you wanna win early. But you know, the cloak is so overpowered that you maybe don't even go Bluestone, right? Even on ability hunters, right? In early game, of course we use our abilities to clear the lane, but it's actually not necessarily you know, good. Why not just go cloak and fucking ASI and rage, right? And you can on Deathbringer, and you can you know, crits are so strong currently, especially because many support players don't even buy Spectral, even though we are in a crit meta currently, right? They don't buy Winged Blade, they don't buy Shogun Kuzari, one of the best support items in the game that allows you to clear any objective 2 times faster, right? Even at SPL level, they don't build the correct support items. You know, it's not that support role is bad, it's that most people just don't build supports properly. They don't buy Shogun, they don't buy Spectral, they don't buy Winged Blade, they don't buy, you know, Sovereignty in early game against 3 physicals or junglers, right? It's all about that. So let's go Anhor, very fun to play, good clear, good ulti, CC immunity. That's all. Gods that have CC immunity in their ultimates are very strong. Anhur, Hachiman, right? All very strong, you know. You can use it for playing more aggressively or less, you know. It's like, it's very good, right? You have slow, you have a lot of crowd control on Anhor actually. He was always pretty good, right? You have pain in your passive, pretty good god, right? Let's talk about Chiron. I think Chiron is fun, but it's very hard to play him when you are behind. I don't think his clear is better than Hachiman or something like that, right? Like Hachiman just has better kit than most gods. Like he has one of the most insane poke and clear. He has, you know, good escape, insane good ultimate, CC immunity, plus you can use it as escape or as a chase tool, right? It's gods that have kits that can do everything are probably gonna be nasty, right? Another, you know, hunter, good teamfight ulti. Cernus is pretty okay. I don't like to play him. I don't really like his mechanics personally. You just got, you know, ASI, Rage or whatever people buy, you know. His escape is okay. Also, I just wanna quickly add that Cernus is actually quite good right now, you know, especially because he got a buff that he really didn't need. They added cripple to his 2, right? So if you beat his ulti, you have no CC immunity for his root, for his cripple, and when you are crippled you cannot escape, which is probably, you know, they added cripple to Cernus and Kumbhakarna, you know, to their second abilities, and this was probably one of the most unnecessary buff in the history of Smite, but hey, let Hyres make the game balance, right? I think that's why Artemis is so underrated. Like, you're probably like the only god in the game that has long range slow, so you can chase everyone. Yes, on the first glance, Artemis build seems a bit outdated, right? But you have so many things. Since they added slow immunity to Artemis and Ra kits, they're one of the best gods in the game, right? You can counter so many junglers and you can juke people. You can trade with anyone because you have insane steroid. You can even use your Born not just for the stun but for body block. If you go 1 versus 1 against any hunter as Artemis, you press your 2, you press your ulti, you get insane steroid, you get crits, lifesteal, and you get a board that can body block like 3 basic attacks for you, right? Artemis is one of the best dueling god and one of the best chasing god, but she's very hard to play when you are behind, like most hunters, like most gods. 2-3 level difference is huge in this game and it's very frustrating. That's why you have to be ready. You have to clear properly the two buffs in early game and then go on lane when you can. You have to use your basic attacks on the wave to group them up so you can hit a whole wave with your 3, right? This is very important for Artemis. If you're gonna fall behind as Artemis, it's very frustrating, especially against gods like Hachiman, right? So let's continue. Hou, let's see, Hou is hard. We have to put somebody in B tier, I guess. Like Chiron is good. He's one of the really fun ability mages. Good for team fights. You can apply like 1-2 combo, I think, and ulti 2 combo, right? You have very good poke, right, as Chiron. You have good escape. You even have CC immunity, I think, in your 2, or not CC immunity, but you can cleanse crowd controls, which is actually very good, but it's very hard to use in proper time, right? Especially against knockbacks like or knockups like Sylvanus ult, Gip, you know, Kit, and so on and so on. Hou, you have one of the strongest escape. You have good team fight ulti, good dueling god, I think, good clear. He's okay, I don't play him much. He looks cool, if that matters. His clear is not that good, I think, right? He's very good in joust when you can cheese his kit, right? Which I actually hate. You know, things that make things more snowbally or that you can just cheese. I don't know, man. But in joust he's very good, I think. He's good for poking. If you are good with Hou, there is a lot of skill ceiling for Hou. You can do insane bounces, right? But it's not really a reliable pick, I think, right? I mean, you have good ulti, you have pretty good escape. His escape is actually very good. Its insta escape is very strong. But otherwise, it's, you know. But, you know, also Artemis, we could also say for Artemis it's not that good. You have, your poke is not that good. Your clear is not that good, but you have, you know, some things that are going on for her. With some of the new items like Asi, Rage, Deadbringer, she can do very well, right? Execution queens against tanks if you need it, but usually you just wanna ignore tanks and focus their carries with crits. That's your job as a carry, and you wanna get ahead if possible, right? Warding is important, you know, clear is important, right? I think that's why also Jotuns is actually really good on Artemis. You rely a lot on your abilities to clear in early game, right? Before you get crits. That's why Jotun's rush might be actually really good for Artemis. Let's go Izanami. She has very good clear, good chase tool, good escape. I think Izanami is very strong. Is she S tier? Her silence and ulti is very strong. But she doesn't really have, you know, she has one escape and that's it. She doesn't have any CC immunity. She's good for boxing, that's for sure. But you can go beats, you can go amulet, you can go even go winged blade if you need it, right? Izanami also has very strong slow, right? The slows are very strong, very important in this game. You can box them, it's good for chasing, right? Her invisibility ulti combo can be very strong, but amulet beats can counter her a lot too. Yingwei, I just played against Yingwei, like, I think she's good, but she's not that good, like, your clear is not that good. Or maybe I was just playing against Yingwei, but I mean Hachiman, or, you know, there are so many hunters that have better clear than Yingwei. You really have to play her well if you wanna get value out of Yingwei. You know, but she has one of the best passive for Conquest, right? You know, even if she doesn't have the best clear or whatever, but her mobility is pretty decent too, but I don't think it's that good. You don't really have any CC immunity, you don't really have, maybe you have slows, I'm not sure, but her poke is non-existent, right? I mean, if you play her good, okay, but I don't know, man. Her escape is not that good either. You literally have to use like 2 abilities to escape, like it's not, I don't know. I don't play her much, so I can't really tell you much. Medusa, level up his 2. Maybe even go Jotuns for, I don't know, or not. I would just go fucking Asi Rage. But Jotuns, I think, people don't realize how good of a Jotun's Rathe is. If you play solo lane, and you lane against any warrior, you can go Jotuns as the first item, and you're gonna clear every solo laner out there. Like, it's a secret strat for you. There used to be a saying that you always have to buy at least one flat pin item on a warrior. That was a golden rule of warriors, and I think, you know, if we don't really buy items, we buy stats. And what does Jotuns gives us? Power, good. Mana, good for early game. Flat pin, good for early game. Cooldown, good for ability mages. Artemis, that rely on her 2 and 3 ulti, right? Medusa, that rely on, you know, that rely on her 2 for clearing, but I will still not go Jotuns on Medusa. Like, just go Ray Chassis, you know. Better, you know. You wanna transition to basic attacks as early as possible, right? Even if you go ability hunters, you will always transition to basic attacks. But sometimes as a first item, flat pin item is good, right? But I would still just go, you know, current hunter items are so broken that you don't need Jotuns, right? You just go fucking Asi, you go Rage, you go Dominance, you go Executioner or whatever, right? There's Bloodforge, right? So many good items. Her escape is mediocre. Her ult is good but predictable. She's actually quite good at boxing. Very good at boxing. Her clear is pretty good with her 2. Actually her 2 is very good for poking. Medusa, when playing fun passive, when played correctly, Medusa can be very strong. But she's not like Hachiman or Apollo, right? They're not outstanding, but they are still very decent picks. If you play them well, all these gods can be very strong, right? You have to find a god that suits your playstyle, right? And what do you need? You need good clear for early game, you need good mobility, some CC, right? CC immunity. If you don't have good escape, you can always go Wingerblade, right? So, you don't really need Rama. I don't play Rama much. He's good, I haven't seen Barracuda play it, Yingwei, Zapman, you know, they played good, they played well. Fun ulti, right, rocket launcher. Good steroid for boxing. You have good escape, good chase, like you have slow on your basic attacks, it's very strong for chasing. He can be very good, he's like your typical hunter, right? Maybe put him a bit higher, right? Let's not underrate him. His clear is pretty good, but not that good, right? He's okay. I think his ulti is a bit outdated, like, yeah, it's good maybe if you chase somebody, but it's not really gonna change a team fight or anything, right? Hachiman, you can use his ult for damage, but also for escape at the same time. That's why these gods are S tier, because their kits are so diverse. They have CC immunity, they have good escape, they have good ultimate, they have good clear, right? They have everything, right? And when gods have everything, he's S tier. So let's see. Skadi, don't play her much. I know she's good in duels. Do we build her ability or a basic attack? But probably, you know, if we go ability based in early game, then go basic attacks, right? Maybe we go Jotuns, probably not. We just go fucking Rage or fucking balanced high-res items, right? Uller, he's fun to play. Fun combo, good clear, good poke. Good escape, movement speed, he doesn't have slow immunity like Artemis or Ra. He don't have ulti, right? Like, he's okay, but I mean, since they changed, they nerfed Bluestone, right? It's very hard to know what to play on these gods anymore. Do we go Bluestone, Jotuns or Transcendence? Do we go basic attack build, right? Or we try to go best of both worlds, but then we are not good at anything, but not necessarily, right? Like, I'm not sure. He's not that complex, but he's complex, right? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty indecisive when it comes to Uller. He's very interesting, right? But a lot of complexity for not necessarily good results. Her abilities can be very hard to hit, right? I mean, you have pretty good clear actually. Instant clear, very good clear. Good poke. Very frustrating, I think, if you play from behind, right? Manticore, haven't played him, so I'm not really sure. It's probably a newer god, it's probably pretty good, right? But I never played it actually, so I just put him in B, maybe put him in C tier for diversity, right? Why do I put Vamana here? Like, people usually do mistake on Vamana and level up his 3, you have to level up his 2, you have very good clear. You can play any god in duel, and actually you just need to have good clear and it's pretty much it, right? You can build him however you want. This is the only problem with Vamana, you can build him however you want. So many paths you can go. But I don't know. Ishatar, she's probably still very strong. Do we put her S tier? I don't even play her. I literally never played her, so I cannot really make a decision here. She has really good clear in early game. She has a lot of going in her kit, right? I don't play her, so I can't really tell you. But I heard good things about it. You know, you can snowball quite easily with her in early game. You have crowd control too, so I'm not even sure if she has escape, I'm not sure. Shiba Lanky. Now Shiba Lanky is S tier in arena, that's what I know. The problem in a conquest is that, yes, if you use your 3 as a clear, which you need, you know, your 2-3 combo is probably the best combo in the game, right? You can actually still, you know, you have to build him and play him correctly, right? Most people level up his 1 for clear. But actually your 2-3 combo, if you level up your 3, your engage, your escape, you can actually outclear any hunter in the game. He's like one of those specialty picks, right? Your ulti is insanely strong right now. How do we build Shiba Lanky? You know, in arena we will probably go Jotun's Wrath, right? Cooldown. But in Conquest, if you're gonna go Jotun's, we're gonna lose out boxing in the middle game. So we go Cloak and we go probably AC Rage, right? If you are winning lane, and you should probably win lane with Shiba Lanky. His poke is insanely good against any hunter. If your support goes like Anti-Heal or so Virginity in early game, you can win lane so easily. Your 2-3 combo allows you to clear wave in instantly into abilities, right? Insanely good poke, but can be very risky. That's why you need beats, you need amulet, you need Winged Blade even. But if you buy Winged Blade too early, you can fall behind, so you need to be careful. Maybe we just level up his 2 actually. I don't know, man. Like he's very, like in arena Shiba Lanky is S tier, right? But in Conquest it's a bit different. I played in tournament with Shiba Lanky against Danzaburu, but he insanely countered me. If I used my combo, he then just ulted me and outpoked me, right? So he can be very strong if you play him correctly. Your 2-3 combo is insanely good. You don't even take your first ability. You literally just put all your points into 3 and then 2, right? You don't even, at level 5, you don't even take his ulti. You literally only level up his 3. And with 2-3 combo, if your target is poisoned, you do 40% more damage with your 3. And you can outpoke, outclear any hunter in the game. And then you have to transition to basic attacks, right? So you use this ability in early game to get ahead, and then you go AC, Rage, you go typical hunter build, right? So he can be very good. I think he's one of the most underrated picks. His ulti got way too many buffs, he didn't really need them. His ulti is very good. Maybe you even go Jotuns, so you have your you can do your rotation in early game more often, you have ulti more often, right? But you have to transition to basic attacks, right? So you don't fall off mid to late game, right? Why is Osiris here? Osiris, very strong poke, right? He's very good, but he's not a hunter. But you can still play it as a hunter if you want, right? How would we build Osiris as a hunter? I don't know. Maybe we just go Jotun's Rat Rush or something. I don't know. He has very good poke, just like Artemis, for example, or Hachiman. This god, never played her. It's okay, nothing special. Let's put her here. I never played her. Cupid, good team fight ulti. It's very similar, a bit outdated as Artemis, but you need to group up mobs, use your 1. You have pretty good escape that also gives you steroid, very risky though if you use it aggressively. I mean, his heals might be very good now that we got some buffs to healing. Strong ultimate that can get countered by anti-slow or beat some late, but he's still very good. he's still very good. Like you have, you even have stun, right? We go cloak on Cupid, so we can stack that passive very easily with attack speed, right? We can go Asi, we can go. We don't really go Jotons on Cupid, right? Like he has abilities, but he's not ability like. I mean, he only has his one and ulti, right? So it's not really worth it. We just go basic attacks, and then use his one as a stun and his ulti very good in team fights, right? Especially if the enemy doesn't have a counter at the moment, like Beat Simulator, Sprint, Relic, Winged Blade, you know. A bit tired. Is it everything? We can also do some Poseidon or something like that. Poseidon, I mean, he has very good clear, very fun to play, right? We can go Kronos, Sol would be very nice. Sol has very good clear, very Sol. Sol has good clear, good escape, decent ultimate, right? She's okay, right? She's okay, but I don't know, like just play Hermit or something, I don't know. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I need to take a rest right now, but I really wanted to do this Hunter tier list for talking about some of the changes, like Hachiman buffs, which I think were not really necessary. Apollo was always strong, right? Apollo was my main. I got diamond with Apollo in Conquest, I remember. Also Freya was my first. Can we also talk about Freya? The problem with Freya is that you need many over expensive items to make her work. I think Freya AD carry might still be viable. You have to, you know, demonic grip is very strong on Freya. But you know, I have to include Freya here because like Freya was one of my first mains, you know. And I remember when we had Fatalis, Gem of Isolation, you know, you don't need Gem because you have slow in your 2. She's good. Mana, you need a lot of mana. I would go attack speed early on. You can just go cloak on her, I think. Can you buy cloak? You know, that hunter, a starter item. For insane attack speed, you get a lot of value from your 2 and 1. Then you can get the Moony Grip, you can get Fatalis, but it's very expensive. She's very risky pick though. Like, she's very strong, especially, like, she's very strong. But a lot of the items you need for her are very expensive. You know, the Fatalis ring, the Demonic Grip for a pin, you know. Demonic Grip actually never got nerfed. 30% magical penetration. Banish is very strong, crowd control. Ultimate is very strong, you know, her ulti has some problems, but her ulti is actually very strong. You can use it as escape or as a chase tool, right? Such ultis are very strong and slow immunity, I mean CC immunity, so. But I haven't played her much, so I think Freya is one of those good picks, right? Even if you lose earlier, you can, you know, but you probably need Fatalis on her and such, so. She's very fun to play once you get Fatalis online though, but Fatalis is very expensive. That's the problem, so you can fall behind. You know, that's why also I think stacking items are not that good, because they're way too slow and you can fall behind, and when you fall behind 2-3 level, it's very hard to come back and it's very frustrating to play from behind, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this Kronos, bam. Kronos, you know, his clear is not that good. He's pretty risky, his clear is not that good. You have good CC, right, but good ulti, I guess, but if you play from behind, Kronos is bad, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hope I see you in the next one. So peace.